Is moral relativism a valid ethical framework in moral politics? Imagine trying to build a bridge that connects different islands. Each island has its own language, customs, and ideas of what is right or wrong. How do you find common ground? That's what moral debates in politics often feel like. Today, we're exploring whether moral relativism can serve as a solid guide in these situations. Moral relativism says that what is right or wrong depends on the culture, history, or individual beliefs. It rejects the idea of universal moral truths that apply everywhere. Instead, it suggests that moral judgments are shaped by specific contexts. There are different types of moral relativism. Descriptive relativism observes that moral views vary across societies. Metaethical relativism claims that moral truths depend on perspective. Normative relativism promotes tolerance of different moral views. In politics, many ideologies are built on shared values like justice, liberty, or equality. These are often seen as universal principles. But moral relativism questions whether these principles are truly universal or just interpretations that differ from one culture or group to another. This makes debates more complicated because it challenges the idea that there is one right way to govern or make laws. On the one hand, moral relativism encourages understanding and respecting different moral perspectives. It can help create space for dialogue among diverse groups. But on the other hand, it can also make it harder to criticize harmful practices or establish common standards for human rights. If everything is relative, how do we agree on what is unacceptable? Practically, moral relativism supports tolerance and peaceful coexistence. It reminds us that different societies have different moral codes. But it also raises issues when it comes to making policies about social justice or protecting vulnerable groups. Without some shared moral ground, political systems might struggle to act against practices that others see as wrong. Critics argue that moral relativism falls short as a guide for political ethics. Politics often needs some universal standards to protect individuals and communities. For example, the idea of universal human rights relies on the belief that certain rights are fundamental, no matter where you are. Without this, it's hard to justify interventions against abuses or injustices. So, in the end, moral relativism offers valuable insights into how diverse moral views influence political debates. It promotes tolerance and cultural sensitivity, which are important in a pluralistic society. But it also faces limits because it doesn't provide a firm foundation for resolving conflicts or upholding justice across different moral systems. It's a useful perspective, but not always enough on its own to guide political decisions.